Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the From the Back Tees podcast. It's a podcast that is from the back tees. I'm Jerry Lou, and with me, as always, is our editor-in-chief of FromTheBackTees.com, Zack and Jerry. Zack, how you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing all right. Don't nobody... Oh, wait. I'm doing all right. How about you? I completely fucked that up this week.
I'm all right. I don't have a catchphrase anymore.
I just stole your catchphrase.
Well, you're probably excited. Why are you excited? We got a guest on.
Big guest. We got none other than Reid Martin, who's caddying on tour for arguably the best Twitter name out there, Homeless Tubs, Mark Hubbard. How you doing, Reid? Thanks so much for coming on.
Doing good, boys. Thank you for having me. What's happening with y'all?
Oh, Zack, you seemed the busiest today. Maybe. What's up? What did you do today, Zack?
I was a busy day. I'm out at school. Then hit up some ping pong bar tonight. It was quite something.
Is that like an Asian thing, or is it like big table tennis? I don't know what you guys call it in Canada.
Table tennis.
Okay. Just making sure. Just making sure, dog.
It was $5 martinis tonight, so you gotta get your worth.
Well, I'm glad you said table tennis because $5 martinis doesn't clear anything up. But hey, I mean,
gotta do what you gotta do.
Man, well, table tennis, I can't hang with a fourth grader in table tennis, man.
Well, it's either you grow up with it or you don't. I've noticed, and it just so happens in all my stupid circles I grew up with around here. Like, one guy had a pool table and we weren't allowed over to his house because it was so nice. It was like Cameron Fry's house and Ferris Bueller's Day Off. It's like a museum. It's very cold and you're not allowed to touch anything. And then like nobody had a ping pong table. So yeah, table tennis was out the door for me. So I essentially, I've been caddying this week for about 16 of your ilk, Zack, but they're all from Winnipeg. So it's very weird. It's like meeting an American from, where would be like the most like generic middle of the road place? I don't want to say Oregon because Oregon still counts as West Coast, but I don't know. I guess, God forbid, like Pittsburgh, maybe, where it's just like, because I've been to Pittsburgh a lot. Pittsburgh's a great place, but it's like, I can't pick up the accent there. They seem to be pretty nice, but that was when they were on one of their Super Bowl runs, so, they were in generally good mood.
All about the Pittsburgh Penguins, man. 87-71.
Zack?
Yeah, exactly. That's Reid's squad right there, the Penguins.
Yeah, they, I living in Maryland for several years, those Caps fans, they hated the Penguins so much. But everyone from Maryland hates every team that they're playing. They claim a rivalry with whoever they're squaring off with that night.
I like that, yeah.
Well, yeah, good for them. But they say, like, Baltimore and, like, Pittsburgh, the Steelers have had, like, the Ravens and Steelers have had the longest, dirtiest rivalry ever. It's like, no, one of these teams didn't exist, like, for that long. So, anywho, Zack, you want to start rolling into some questions with Reid here?
Yeah, well, first, I guess you want to give a quick introduction to yourself, Reid, and how you got to where you're at. I know right now you're caddying for Mark Hubbard, who actually finished 9th last week, so congratulations on that backdoor finish for you guys. All-time Twitter handle, Homeless Hubs.
Yeah, that Homeless Hubs, I've been caddying. Actually, I played a lot growing up, nationally, in junior league level, collegiately at UCF, and then tried playing professional myself and ended up not working out. And so I had a friend from college who needed some help, and I went out and started working for him and built it from there. But got hooked up with Hubbard late last year. He needed help in Boise in the playoffs, and my boy had missed the playoffs. And so we went out there and had a pretty good week, except we struggled the final round, dropped us on the leaderboard a little bit, but worked well together. And messaged him in the off season and just told him that I was interested in working full time for him, and met him in Bogota, Colombia, and went from there. So third event together, we actually won. Sorry, the fourth event would be together. We actually won and carried the season on from there.
Nice.
Not a bad way to kick things off.
No, hell no.
So but big hockey fan outside of golf. Big hockey fan, man. I love going to minor league games, major junior games. If it weren't for golf, I'd probably surround myself all around hockey.
Really? Anytime you're in Montreal, you hit me up. We'll hit up a Habs game. Habs Penguins.
Absolutely, anytime.
During the game, we'll hate each other, but after the game, we'll party it up. All the Jaeger bombs.
You tell me when and where, and I'm there.
Amazing.
That sounds perfect. But real quick, because you told us a little bit off the air, Reid, where are you from? You said you're at, like, you would call Phoenix your kind of residence, as we're all maybe, God, if we're starting to become like mostly just a caddy podcast, God forbid, like, and all these people would be asking us what's the life of the caddy. Like, okay, we'll keep showing you all these different lives and how it's not all cookie cutter. But you said Phoenix, Arizona, quote unquote, could be your de facto home, but you said you're from Seattle?
Yeah, born and raised just north of Seattle in a little town called Mukilteo, Washington.
How far outside Seattle is that?
Maybe 25 miles north.
Oh, north. Oh, goodness. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
usually people, I don't know too many people from Seattle, but usually they point a different direction or they won't admit they're from Tacoma altogether. I mean.
95% of them are from Tacoma, man, even if they're caddies. They're all Chambers Bay guys.
See, I get that. And that's the stupid trouble with me just working only at Bandon Dunes and working there year round. I see people come and go, and it's just like, oh, I've never even been up to fucking Chambers Bay yet. And it sucks. I mean.
I'll tell you what, I lived outside of Chambers Bay for almost a year, and I never went and played there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But you worked the course at least, right?
Chambers? No. I was actually right before I got started out. Yeah, I was actually in Sweden when that tournament was going on. The guy who actually was caddying for was getting married in Sweden, so I was with him when that tournament was going on. That
was
mile from my house, kind of a weird situation.
You can tell if it's a tiger. It's no big deal. I mean, we're trying to get more.
Connor Rendell was his name. I was working for a boy of mine.
Oh, nice.
Dad looks exactly like Albert Einstein, man.
That's a very unique look.
You look up Connor Rendell and his long. They tell him he looks like Charlie Hoffman. So you take an older Charlie Hoffman, you got Albert Einstein in the mix.
Interesting. I'm gonna have to try and merge that later on some type of app we got out there. So I got a quick question to you that anytime we have a caddy on, I want to ask this personally to get it right off the gate. Because I've texted Zach this question before to put in other interviews, and he's not to say he's fudged it up, but not being a caddy, he didn't understand what I was trying to get at. But let me put it this way: ever since I discovered Randy Sun waterproof socks earlier this year, that has become like my new favorite thing since like Chapstick or like Gold Bond or whatever. So my question to you, Reid, is what's like, and it could even be like a friggin' good luck charm, whatever, but what's like, and like Lorcan did, because he got a little like sponsor whorish on us for a second, which was adorable. But like, what would you say is like the one piece of gear or one thing you can't live without or one thing that helps you the most when you're on the job?
Well, when I'm on the job, one piece of gear, I wouldn't say it helps me the most, but my compass with me at all times, and it's just kind of my backbone. If I don't trust it in the book, it's my compass. I go straight to my compass, and that's pretty much the only thing that I use besides my yardage book on the job. I mean, really what it is. Everything else is done and prepared.
So when you say compass, are you referring to the thing that Bryson got banned, or are you referring to the thing that they hope Cub Scouts are using that actually points to magnetic north?
No, the actual northeast-southwest compass.
Interesting. See, and I mean, not to say like Bryson did stuff or he was the first or whatever, but anytime I see some little application that people don't normally use in golf, I enjoy that. Like I saw years ago a guy using a musical metronome on the range to get his down. I'm like, hey, I didn't think of that. And I was a drummer since I was like age 4. I was just like, duh, that's a good idea. But a compass, I'd say that's the first I've thought of that, but that makes perfect sense.
It's all about judging the wind. It's mainly wind stuff. That's what we use it for.
Exactly. I mean, God, in the 15 years I took off from caddying at Bandon Dunes, we developed cell phones and weather apps. And I'll admit, the apps are pretty good to the point where it's like, oh, all you have to do is tell me once where the wind's going. And say for today, when we finally, our storm was done and it shifted back to the north wind, ultimately that was just the whole point was it's just like, just where's the wind coming from? That's it. I mean, right. Like some guys use yardage guns, some guys use yardage books out there. I mean, it's take your pick. I mean, in the end, you don't need all that stuff, and some guys really love Under Armour underwear. That's why I asked the question to you exactly. What's the thing you use?
Yeah, I mean that's really it. I don't have any clothing deals or any clothing things that I wear or whatever. It's just my compass, man. My bib, my compass.
Follow-up question then, Zach. Sorry, and then you can go. What percentage of caddies in general would you say have any deals whatsoever? And are those deals even like do you get money for it or just like get the gear or whatever?
Well, I mean, I actually have hats coming, but that's they're not with me yet. They should be here in the next week or so, week or two. But besides that, I don't know, man. It's all caddies are becoming more relevant and more relevant as far as clothing deals day by day. So it's
Well,
hard
you're
to
visible, man. You're just as visible as the golfer, for Christ's sakes.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, I would say some have deals and some don't, but as far as asking percentage, I don't know. I have no idea. I couldn't tell you. I know all the Nike caddies have to wear Nike stuff.
I just know
that,
that would probably be a question. Like, obviously we only had so much time with Lorcan, but we want to try and fill in all the blanks to be like, oh, well, like, if you don't earn your bread and butter one way, do you earn it another way, or is it just free polos? A lot of people would like to know that probably. So.
Right. 100%.
So one question I actually have for you is, how did you end up on manning the bag for Mark, of all people? I guess you end up with someone, but
yeah, man. So I was actually in Salt Lake City, getting ready to go to just outside of Colorado to Club Caddy for the fall before the snow came in, and Lorcan had called me and said, or he actually put a message on our big group chat. We had a caddy group chat on the Corn Ferry, and said that I have a guy looking for a caddy. Does anyone need work? And so I messaged him, and it was Hubbard, and we ended up working really well together. Just kind of, I'd been on the tour all year and seen him and stuff, and we went well together, and just continued there on out. It was all through Lorcan, which is funny because you guys were talking to him the other day.
Exactly, yeah. That's a pretty sweet finish for you guys. Week 1, eh? 9.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Fresh out the gates with a top 10. Love that.
Right. So, as far as going to the PGA with him, we meshed pretty well together and just kind of do our thing. And we had a discussion at some point throughout the end of the season. And just kind of decided we were going to go with each other. And week 1 was good, man.
And do you guys know where you're at throughout the tournament, like around 4, where you're at? Like, do you want a birdie to get top 10, or do you just play it out as it is, give your best, and then see how it ends after 18?
Yeah, you just kind of you're hitting every golf shot you can most efficiently, and that's the softest way I can put it. Depending on the line or the wind or wherever the pin is, you're hitting whatever golf shot you can the most efficiently in the highest percentage way. Sure, when you need to make up a shot or whatever, you kind of take something a little more heavy on and maybe challenge a bunker or the water or whatever. But, it's just kind of one step in front of the other and just keep trucking.
Well, real quick, I just thought of this while you were talking, and it's just something I could say absentmindedly to any caddy, because I joke around with a lot of guests at the resort. I'm like, oh, when we're at full strength, you're looking at like 350 other people who've done everything else in the world but are good at nothing else in the world. That's why we're caddies. So, not suggesting, Reid, that you're not good at anything else, because we talked a little ping pong talk, and we talked some hockey or whatever. But if you just real quick, because I always joke to say if I wasn't a caddy, I'd probably be working at Napa Auto Parts, selling parts or something or whatever. But if you weren't a caddy, what would you be doing? Was this your calling?
I would be in the hockey organization of some sort, working in the back offices, 100%.
That's sweet.
I've got a lot of friends and family that are not so much family, but a lot of friends in the organizations, and know a lot about it, and love it, and be perfect.
Chit chat. That sounds awesome. So let's see here. What was one of my other questions here? Screw it. I'll just ask this one. That a buddy of mine who he caddies here at Bandon Dunes in the off season now, he's got his stripes, but he still keeps going back to Sand Valley. Like, we got this reciprocating pipeline between the two places. But he had a question he asked me real quick just a few minutes ago. He said, and you can answer one of these, or hopefully maybe it's the same thing, but he asked, what was your craziest trip to an event, and or what was the weirdest place you've ever stayed while working?
Caddying or playing, or either?
I'll take either. Because I can dig it. Like, there are a lot of caddies out there where it's like one played in the 99 Scottish Open and took like a T10. One guy played on the Canadian Tour for in 06 or whatever. It's like, there's like, we got all the same.
Not finish-wise, but craziest trip I've ever had in terms of golf was going to Bangkok, Thailand for Asian Tour Q School. If you haven't seen it all going over there, you've seen everything and everything you can ever imagine.
Because it's so cheap. I mean, that's why you can see everything you can imagine is because it's affordable, right?
I've never seen a place selling tarantulas on the side of the road and scorpions on the side of the road for, 30 baht, which is less than $1.
Well, I mean, you haven't been to the right streets in Tijuana, man.
Right. Never been to Tijuana. You're correct there.
Bangkok's got obviously way different. I mean, that's really sweet, though. I mean, I love hearing Bangkok stories. I've never been, but
that's something you got to check out at least once.
Well, I mean, I was hoping when I was in the service that I would catch that, but it turned out that didn't work out. So thank you, Brian, or as I call him, Cap, for the question. Zach, you got another one there?
I have some other questions, a bit off topic on it, but one of the questions that Lorcan gave us a simple answer of he doesn't deal with this problem. What are your thoughts on players' loyalty to caddies?
Players' loyalty to caddies. I can give you the cliche answer that I don't deal with it because it's true, but I'll give you the kind of inside whatever. Mark and I are fine and we have loyalty to each other and whatever, but there are some situations that arise that others notice, sometimes, caddies transfer bags time to time, whatever, and it's just part of the business, man. I mean, a caddy player match is a caddy player match, and when one is found and the other, and it's right. It's just like a swing coach and a player or whatever. So I think, when someone finds someone who they truly want, there is no worries, and it is pretty loyal, and there's nothing to really watch it back on in this and that.
And
that's cool.
Do you ever find that you get, or what are your thoughts about being blamed or reprimanded for shots gone bad, having the wrong yardage, kind of like the Spieth or Webb with his coach, or Paul Casey with his coach, sorry, not Webb, way to throw him under the bus.
I mean, dude, at the end of the day, raw numbers are raw numbers, so raw numbers are going to be right. But when you have so many elements and stuff going into every shot as far as elevation and wind and temperature and how much you release and how firm is the grass and this and that, I mean, at the end of the day, everything's an educated guess to the best of my knowledge. And so as a human error, you're gonna be wrong from time to time, and you just got to accept it and then move on. That's why we all play 72 holes.
Oh yeah, that makes perfect sense. Now let's take a couple steps back here, because this is the question that everyone always asks, and I'm gonna guess every time we have a caddy on, I'm gonna ask it because I don't have the answers, and even the guys on tour don't have the answers. But can you tell us, Reid, what your path to getting on the tour was, essentially, or even better, is there a generic path to being a caddy on tour? Because we all know there isn't, but we keep getting people who do ask all the time. It's like, what's the path to get on tour? It's like, I don't know, like stuck at the golfer or something, and like you're just that close to the playing on tour. I don't know.
I mean, there is absolutely no written book and path, and I've had people tell me before that, ask me before, I should say, how do I get started in this and that. And honestly, it's creating relationships, and I think that if you're going to call it a path, it's creating relationships with people and hoping that, ultimately you're going to a tournament where anyone can win, more or less, especially when you get to the tours like this. And then it's you put your nose down and work and do your job and do it as best as you can. And you got to know golf, man. I mean, you got to know, anything. And
who's that? Who says we got to get a name? Who said no golf? You got to know golf.
This is Landon Ewing. He can chime in if he wants, man. He's caddying.
Yeah. No, this isn't.
Yeah, Landon, get in here. Don't just be a background noise.
Yeah, just golf knowledge. I got into it just because of I've played golf my whole life, and just the relationships you create throughout golf. And I mean, you play junior golf, high school golf, college golf. Like prime example. I grew up playing with Bronson Burgoon. I hadn't seen Bronson Burgoon since we played high school golf together, and we used to battle. And today on the range, we hadn't seen each other in 12 years, and it's just relationships and knowing.
No kidding. Well, awesome, man.
No one it's easy.
What was his first name again?
Talking with Landon.
Landon, that's right.
That's Landon. The Don.
Oh, the Don. Oh.
The Don.
See, that's why I'm scared, and I stay at my resort, so obviously I don't.
That's funny.
Well, good stuff. So, Zach, you got another question for him?
Yeah, so I have a Twitter question by Adam Kovalt at Foster Kovalt, who asked your thoughts on rangefinders and green books.
I think they should not be allowed, either of them. Not green books either. It takes the feel out of the game.
Yeah.
It takes the time out of the game. It becomes much slower, in my opinion. I mean, I just think that golf was born and bred to be played figuring out how to get a little ball in the hole.
So that's
with raw knowledge and talent. I mean,
that's crazy to me because
react to the temperature, react to the wind, react to everything.
I
I'm not trying to put anything on a calculation anymore, man. Like, I mean, sure, you're gonna give everything your best knowledge and try to figure out a yardage, but at the end of the day, what happens if a gust of wind comes up over the ball? I mean, you got to react to it.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree with you guys. And what amazes me is that it seems like everyone we've spoken to agrees with the fact of getting rid of it, yet they still have it out there. So it must be a few of the top guys must be very for it. But I agree with you. That's part of the game. I think that's what the players should have to deal with without the books.
Right. I mean, I'm not going to change anyone, if they're out here or not, but I can have a view on it. I think they need to be gone. But I mean, whatever. I mean, if you allow them, you allow them, and anyone's they're fair game. So I mean, everyone's on the same level playing field.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, if there's an advantage, I'll take it. But I mean, some days I'm too lazy to use the gun or my book, and I just kind of just like, well. Then again, like I said, I hide on my resort. We luckily only have 4 courses there, so that's all I have to think about. But I mean, that's why I love going back to this thing you said about the compass. That's quietly brilliant right there. I mean, because even though we can know where the wind direction is at all times, period. I mean, it's still you don't know where you're at sometimes. I mean, that's I like that. It's pretty slick, especially if it changes on the spot too. Like he was just talking about, if a gust comes up, you got to be prepared for it. So,
well, I mean, you can change, just within the hole on the compass too. I mean, from tee box to green, your wind direction, your north can change by 40 degrees or whatever.
Oh yeah.
How the second shot is and the tee ball sits, but I just like it as a backup for just confirmation, man. I mean, the winds can come from the northeast all day. Okay, it's from the northeast, and northeast is at 2 o'clock or whatever. Right.
Oh, I hear that. Zach, other than my last question, you got anything else for Reid here?
No, I got nothing specific. If you have.
Okay. No, I don't have anything either. I got everything covered here. So basically, I got one last question for you, Reid. It's we're trying to be cool like all the other podcasts, like No Laying Up, where they ask like people, it's like, when was the last time you paid to play golf? Which is, pretty slick question. I like that. But they already took
well, before we get to that final question, I don't have any Twitter questions. I got some
questions.
We got to ask the final question, save it for the end. One question I have for you, Reid, is what are your goals for this year with Hubs, and what are one of the things you're looking forward to this year? Do you have any specific goals or any tournaments you're looking forward to playing?
I mean, for sure, I have goals. I'd like to go. I mean, you can go as deep as winning this week. I mean, that's a goal of mine. But if you're going to talk future goals, whatnot, I mean, a goal of mine that I've had since the beginning of this year is to go out to every tournament, teeing it up Thursday morning, being as prepared as I physically can be. Physically and mentally, yardages, whatever.
I was going to say don't get fired, but I mean, you can still work every week and get fired a lot. I mean, I've seen that happen before too.
Right. This is true.
Make caddies great again.
Make caddies great again.
Dude, hey, my pin tweet for a long time was 2019 was the year of the caddy, and this was like right when the Kuchar bullshit was bubbling up. And by that I mean, yeah, there was 4 things that he did, but that whole him and his caddy thing was right when I was just like, oh, we're gonna get a lot of attention this year. Like, and everyone's like, now we know everyone's Twitter handle. Hell, we're interviewing like these great caddies now. I mean, and normally it's just like, well, nobody cares. It's like, yeah, they're right there for Christ's sakes. I mean, and we want to hear their conversations. Well, why wouldn't we know who that other end of the conversation is?
Right. I mean, I don't know, man. Caddies, we put in a lot of hard work, dude, and sometimes it's overlooked. But at the end of the day, we're all a team, and that's what it comes down to.
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. There seems to be a big group of the caddies. They stick together, kind of help each other out. And then one of my other questions, we asked Lorcan this as well, is if you're caddying with anyone, let's take Tiger Woods out of it because I feel like he's the answer for most people. Who would you want to be teeing it up with come Sunday if you could be with anyone?
As far as tour players, I don't know, some guys I've kind of idolized when I was young. I mean, I don't know if they'll have Ernie Els. I'd love to tee it up on Sunday with Ernie Els. I think he's just so easygoing, relaxed, and chill, and that's kind of how I am.
Well, I think hung over a lot, honestly. I mean, I've heard a lot of stories about him. So, like, when we've seen him on TV, he's just been that smooth golfer. But my God, that guy likes to put the bottle back. I mean,
oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Oh, man, I thought this was, like, borderline public knowledge. I mean, this guy, let me put it this way. Like, there's enough, like, some people have done podcasts or interviews from his private jets, like, all over the world, and they get drunk enough that, like, they have to calm her down because he starts to get a little racist, and they're just like, Ernie, just settle down, buddy. I mean, it's like, because he's just an old South African with a lot of money, and he was a white guy. I mean, call it what you will.
Right, I mean, like, hey, man, there's backstory to everyone. You just never know who it is and what it is, whatever.
Hey, we weren't. There's still nothing that sticks to him. It's just like he loves to drink, and when he drinks, he starts to get a little loose with his lip, and then some people need to like check him. I was like, Ernie, not now.
Did he knock somebody out in the plane? Who did he
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I don't even know who like the best like anchor is in terms of like somebody has like all these stories or somebody was up there the most with him, but I forget who it is. I mean, some other news company better
knock somebody out. Who did he
knock
out?
On the plane that came out. I forget who it was, but you're right.
Ernie Els knocked somebody out. Hold on.
It was a great, yeah. Somebody Google that. While we're getting that, I'll ask Reid our final question. So this is the question I want to ask everybody, just because it'll make you think for a second, but you can't have a bad answer. If you, Reid Martin, could be the president of any fan club, that is like everyone comes to you because you know all the knowledge and you're like you also are really into it, what would that fan club be? Like for who, for what would it be?
For what fan club? Sidney Crosby, man. All about Sidney Crosby. I had to throw that in your face, Zach.
Interesting.
Number 87. I love Crosby. I can't hate
him. Do Canadians not like Sidney or something?
No, we love Crosby. He's not a Maple Leaf player, so he's not on the Leafs.
Well, all the Canadians love Crosby, man.
It was Steve Marino.
Everyone in the NHL.
Steve Marino.
Just the fact
about Ernie Els
the fucking comments on the side.
Ernie Els knocked Steve Marino out.
From a flight home.
That's the first thing I'm Googling as soon as we get off this. Oh man, I gotta get all the dirt on that. So there we go. Reid Martin wants to be the president of the Sidney Crosby fan club. That was essentially what I wanted to put on a little plate that you can put on your desk there. So
that's right, man. It's all about 87.
Hey, are you guys heading to the Canadian Open this year?
Are we heading to the Canadian Open? Hopefully, yeah. I mean, we should be, but nothing's ever for sure. For sure, we got to get some good tournaments under our belt.
Where is it this year? I should know of everyone, but it changes.
I'd have to look at the schedule, man. I don't remember. I know it changes.
Hopefully Montreal or Toronto then.
Yeah, something I'll have to double check.
Well, those are essentially the two places Zach's going to be bouncing back and forth. Reid, you got any plugs like where we can see you other than hopefully on the weekends on a major TV network? I mean,
just on Golf Channel. Not a big deal.
Well,
just on Golf now. No, I just in Phoenix, and I'm home in Phoenix. I'm either at the golf course out here, and when I'm not, I'm at the golf course, I'll go grab a beer. I'll go chill at the room. I'm pretty easygoing, man. I don't go do a whole lot. We were down at the lake fishing with Boo Weekly today.
Oh, sweet! I heard he's a cool guy to kick back with. I mean,
yeah, Boo's great.
Yeah,
just bring that to light.
With a name like Boo, could you not be great?
Oh, I mean, you can make just Boo.
Exactly.
No, but you got any like your Twitter handle, like any website or like anything like that you want to plug?
No, I mean I don't. I have a Twitter and I have an Instagram, but I never use them. I think they're R Martin Golf Pro.
Plug the other R Martin.
Yeah. What was that about, Zach?
You mean that dinosaur catcher for the Dodgers we got dealing with right now?
Yeah, for those listening.
He's our third stringer.
I tweeted out the pod tagging Hubbs' proper Twitter, but the incorrect Reid Martin. And the Reid Martin that I tagged responded as if it was the right Reid Martin.
That's hysterical, man.
He just went with it. He's like, yeah, looking forward to it. I'm like, not you.
You're like, who the fuck are you?
Who the fuck are you? Hey, other Reid Mark, if you're listening to this, man, you need to come out and catch me. Come find me.
All right. Well, you can find me still caddying every day at Bandon Dunes Golf Resort. Just when you request a jock, just ask for Jerry Lou, and you can find me on Twitter at JerryLouLooper1. That's the number 1. Zach, what do you got?
Yeah, so before we go, just in case, Reid, for when you do come to Canada, I could take you out to a Habs game or Leafs game. Fuck the Leafs, but then I'll root for your Penguins. What's your drink of choice?
IPA, brother.
IPA?
The hoppier the better. Absolutely.
Well, you
Wait,
can
Zach,
find it.
Wait, Zach, I feel like a piece of shit now. I should be like offering all our guests, hey, anytime you want to, because I have a big house here with room, and like I get you out of Bandon Dunes, and I haven't given shit.
Oregon. No one watches hockey in Oregon.
It's not just about hockey. Hey, what is your website about, brother? I know I'm not gonna say your handicap out loud, but what are we talking about here? What is the whole genesis of this that you brought me onto as employee number 2, huh?
Yeah, let's never talk about my handicap again. So you can find us at From the Back Tees on Twitter, fromthebacktees.com. If you look up handicaps at Elmridge Local Golf Club, you'll find me in the around 90 to 95. Not a big deal.
Hey, man.
Make a birdie every once in a while. Not a big deal.
All right. Well, it was nice chatting with you, Reid. We really appreciate it, man.
Not a problem, guys. Thank you very much. All the best to you. We'll talk soon.